Hi again, friends. Well, that's right, we're friends now. Now, since we've gotten past the initial introductions, we're going to do a rundown of the main cast, just to summarize a lot of the canon facts I've already talked about in the past. Before we get started, though, I'm going to ask that you please like, subscribe, and ring my bell, because it really helps out the channel. And you'll be notified of all the new projects and episodes right when they drop. Got it done? Awesome. With that, let's get started on this week's project with Cassandra Riddell. Element, nature. Birthday, July 28, 1262. Zodiac, Leo. Age 26. Blood type, O negative. What can be said of Cassandra that hasn't already? We know that she is the mother of Martin and Shane, and she currently has no other children. Cassandra was just 14 when she met Matthias, who was around the age of 20, and was a traveling bard in the company of Sir John of Scotland. Originally, she's from what's now Galway, Ireland. Her decision to leave her family and country was spurred by a sudden conversion to Catholicism. Prior to this, her family still practiced the ways of the old gods of Gaelic Gnosticism, and Cassandra was unwilling to make such a drastic spiritual change, especially given the many ways shame and condemnation are used to inspire adherence to Catholic dogma. Cassandra's primary role in Alden is that of a shepherd, which is what she had done all her life prior to leaving her birth home. She also brings with her a deep understanding and bountiful knowledge of different fae creatures, their rules and hospitalities, and actively teaches everyone in her village the proper ways to address when meeting one of the fair folk, whether it's simply the recognition of a fairy mound or how to survive an encounter with the mischievous Pwaka. Her element of nature is seen in her green clothing and also her uses of dried plants and herbs in everything from sativa to cardamom. Cassandra is a variant of the name Teresa, which means to reap or gather, such as with, well, herbs and plants. And Cassandra is the youngest of the main cast of parental figures, at only 26 years of age when the series started. Now, this does mean that she was only about 15 when Martin and Shane were born, and this is way more common than not in medieval times where, for the modern age, young people would often be made to carry young, be wed long before their adolescence could even be complete. It's something to be said how modern science has changed that for many people, as an increased quality of life has afforded what we could consider children more time, and those with the ability to become pregnant more control over their bodies. At least in a more normal society. There are still some really sus laws in the United States and other places that allow children as young as 12 to be married to adults as long as the parents give consent. Of course, we'd call these things draconian or archaic in our time. But, unfortunately, there are still places where this is the norm. It makes me wonder if marriages like Cassandra's to Matthias, which, even if it was her decision, wouldn't have been slightly different in a modern era where she likely wouldn't have felt rushed or put under duress by religious persecution. I know in the 2500s not only do we see little to no religious persecution, there's entire sects of people dedicated to dismantling those old institutions. After all, what good is faith in divine beings when a lot of us are capable of staggering magical feats, you know? But for a woman in her time, Cassandra is a powerful, confident, and outspoken woman, and Matthias values her input and knowledge. She hails as a descendant of the Tuatha De Danann, a tribe of the gods, a powerful and mystical race of half-human, half-fae heroes that are said to be the origin of the Gaelic people. A few prominent Tuatha include the Morrigan, the Dagda, Brigid, and Manan MacLear, the ruler of Tir na Og. So, With this concept art done, we're going to look at a more detailed drawing next, done by our very own Shalak. This one features Cassandra with her two best sheep, Alba and Dove. Their names literally just mean black and white, and Cassandra having a black sheep as the village shepherd is a nod to the idiomatic meaning of her being a member of her family that just didn't fit in. The white sheep symbolizes her acceptance into Alden, as many of them are, likewise, outcasts or outsiders from the lives they were born into. Oh, and just as a scientific point of note, in most sheep, white fleece is not caused by albinism, but by a common dominant gene that switches color production off, thus obscuring any other color that may be present. Black fleece is caused by a recessive gene, so if a white ram and a white ewe are each heterozygous for black, about 1 in 4 of their lambs will be black. In most white sheep breeds, only a few sheep are heterozygous. Gosh, I learned so many interesting words doing these projects. Only a few white sheep are heterozygous for black, so black lambs are usually much rarer than this. Well, that's going to do it for this week. If you got through the whole video, thank you so much. I know it was a lot, but this is part of a much bigger project that I'm dubbing the TOA Bingo Book. Hopefully you've enjoyed learning more about our story and our characters and where they're from. Opening up and talking about this with all of you has also helped us to strengthen and build up these places and the people. But for now, with the video coming to a close, I'm going to mention episode 3 coming up probably September, maybe October. There's been some unfortunate mishaps with the comic book artists, but thankfully Hitsuji Sam is on the episode once again. The title for this one is Saturnalia, so get ready for a deeper look into the relationship of these kids and their parents, and a stellar performance from all of our great VAs. Your support helps us greatly in getting these projects and episodes out to you faster, so please consider visiting the Patreon link included in the description and check out the tiers we have to offer. Starting at just $1 a month, Those at the $10 tier can gain access to a new page of the Monomyth comic book every week. The $50 Keeper tier gets access to the raw scripts so you can read the story way ahead of time, should you prefer the sort of novel format to the story. For now, let's me give a big thanks to our current patrons. Shadow Fox, Arya Gamari, Charles Tam, Jace Marlowe, Lunder Lumen,